So this looks a little weird, huh? I've never seen the Accord on that side. So I've been working all day. It is now 20:04. Got both lawns across the street done to very high standards. They look awesome. And made some money, got my works done. So I'm gonna go check on the M5, although the keys to this thing are completely gone. I've been looking for them for an hour. Kenan just found them in his car. So I have this. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I don't know if it's gonna set the alarm off. So, that was weird. That worked. It's valet key, so I assume since it is cut to this car. I've never tried it in the couple years I've owned this car. Yeah, this will work. Sweet. Let's go check on the M5. Maserati is becoming a daily brand around here. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm seeing like more than 1 or 2 a day. Almost as many as Audi S cars. There's a lot of them. Also saw a Ferrari 612 on the way here, which I also saw yesterday. I don't know what the name of the color is, Kenan would. It's kind of a cream, it's not white, it's a beigey cream kind of deal. Cool to see a Ferrari though, always. Razvan and I very affectionately call that car the Parrot. For some reason, we think it looks like a parrot. It's another Maserati, another one.
My wife!
In a new home.
Damn.
What are you doing?
Texting Joe. Hi Joe. I'm reading the response to you.
That's the little bird that sounds like it's saying Gary.
Look at the balloon!
I think it was supposed to be a secret, but I knew.
Balloons make me happy.
Right.
About Ryan's car. Oh. He showed me last night.
It is Friday night, dinner night at Blast Hole's Italian Eatery. We're getting 2 pizzas and a salad. What did Sabrina get?
She got a pizza.
Oh, 3 pizzas.
We got 3 pizzas coming.
It's the new Volkswagen Hurricane.
It's just faster.
What model Lamborghini is it?
It's an Huracan.
Oh, it is a Huracan.
It is a purple one. Yeah.
Alright, it's the update time. We'll get the stupid stuff out of the way first. Flip this around. We do not have a flashing battery light tonight, surprisingly. We went and got our pizzas. We came back here. We watched Game 6, Cleveland versus Boston in Cleveland. Got a win for us to Game 7, so that's good. Game 7 will be Sunday. I don't know where that's going, but I'll watch it. Earlier today, finished the game, hung out downstairs for a bit, about midnight maybe, I don't know, something like that. Everybody just left. Kenan, Raz, Sabrina, Megan. Normal suspects. So earlier today, got up pretty early, took the car in, early by my standards, dropped it off. They started with the brake fluid flush, took about 45 minutes, said everything was easy. You know those little black plasticky rubber kind of things that slide over the nipple on the caliper, and then you put the wire for the brake pad sensor in there and then flip it back up over the nipple for the bleeding. Well, my rear one was missing. I didn't even know that. So they had one and just put it on there for me, which I appreciate. And I got to email him the part number for it, because the guy, what's his name? Damn it. Hunter at LMS wants to order 100 of them to keep them on stock. So I told him I bought one of those before, and I'll find the part number for it and send it to him. So there's a mental note as I'm editing this to find that and do that. So they did that, then they moved into the exhaust. The cut on the original resonator was in the wrong place. They had to take off about 4 more inches of it with a Sawzall and then Dremel it clean. So they did that, put the X-pipe in. By design, it's way too long. They make it so you trim it to fit. So they had to make several cuts. They had the mufflers on like 5 or 6 times, getting the fitment pretty close to right. Right now it's actually not perfect. If I stand in dead center in the car, the right tips stick out it's almost nothing. It's a couple of millimeters further. And the height, I think the height's pretty good. That's about where they were and where they're supposed to be. So all of that's back together. The issue is the resonators held on, or the X-pipes held on to the undercarriage of the car really by 3 fastening points. So on the top end, the north end as I'll call it, closer to the motor, it sleeves into the cats and then clamps down on top of the catalytic converter. So that's your first point. Your second point's in the middle. That's where the center exhaust brace is and where the chassis braces connect to the center exhaust brace. And the X-pipe / factory resonator, whatever you put in there, has two little rubber bushings that kind of look like transmission mounts, but they're not round. They look more like miniature exhaust mounts, those rubber things with a little C in it that allows it to flex. They kind of look like that. They're really small, like 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches by 1 inch thick, or 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick. Two of those in there that attach it to the center exhaust brace. Then on the south end, it connects to the mufflers, which are held in with 6 bolts each. So that's what holds the back end of the exhaust system on. Obviously the mufflers install fine, the cats install fine. My problem is where it attaches to the center exhaust brace with those rubber bushings that I just talked about. So I would have bet you earlier today, easy $1,000, I would have made this bet publicly, that I have replaced those bushings before, those center exhaust resonator bushings, because the year after I stopped driving this car in the winter, like 2015, 2014, 2015, I replaced everything that was rusty under the car. I replaced the chassis braces, the center exhaust brace, all the bolts, the fuel tank straps, all the hardware, everything I did. And I really thought that I replaced those bushings as well, because I saw them in the Explosion. They're not expensive at all. They're not hard to get. And I would have had the exhaust brace down. It would have just been the matter of pulling those bushings out and screwing new ones in. So they go to take it down today and take the old bushings off the old resonator, and they're totally rusted on there. The hardware's rusted on. They tried tugging on it and working on it, and then the rubber starts crumbling and they're just trashed. And for some reason they're red. I don't know why they're red, but they're not usable anymore. They don't have them. It was 4 p.m. on a Friday before Memorial Day weekend. They can't get them. So it's currently installed without anything technically holding the X-pipe in, except the cats in the front and the mufflers in the back, which is kind of annoying. I can kind of feel it and hear it moving around a little bit. It's not bad. I thought it was going to vibrate against the center exhaust brace a lot worse, but it's not. Safe to drive for now, so I get the car back for the weekend, which is great. They ordered the parts, genuine BMWs, are 28 bucks, no big deal. And then they'll come in either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll just drive the car in, they'll put it in the air and screw them in, and then it's done. And they'll probably do, or they will do, another exhaust alignment too, because it's going to bounce around a little bit over the next couple days, not being properly secured. And since it's a different setup, everything kind of adjusts and settles in. So we'll realign the exhaust and put those bushings in on Wednesday, or whenever I take it in there next week, and then we'll be done. In the meantime, did I get a sound clip for you today? I was going to, but I didn't. I did drive it quite a bit. I drove it home, picked up Razvan, we drove all the way around, went back and got the 3 Series, had him drive that home. Then I got home again, Kenan came over, we went back downtown and driving it around, playing with it and listening to what it sounds like. It's a totally different car. It's a different sound. Hassan asked me on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the 330xi and 10 being a muffler deleted E60, which is the loudest car that I've heard outside of a drag strip. I'm gonna put it at a 6 or a 7. It's pretty loud, especially outside. It doesn't really drone, and when you're cruising, just sustaining speed, it's borderline silent, which I wanted. I don't want to be going down my neighborhood at 27 miles an hour and hear blah, and hear all this noise from the exhaust. I don't want that. It's a luxury car first. But when I am accelerating or getting into the throttle, I want it to wake up and I want it to sound aggressive, and that's what it does. It sounds really deep, it sounds really throaty, aggressive. It doesn't rasp, which I'm happy about. It doesn't have too much snap, crackle, pop. I'm not into that. I don't want it to sound like a hood gunfight. Some of the exhaust systems just sound like machine guns going off. I don't mind a little bit of burble, but I don't want snap, crackle, pop. Man, what do we got? 6-minute, 48-second clip here. Sorry about this. But so far, so good. I like things the way they are right now. It'll get a little bit better when I have those bushings in there because it won't rattle or move around or transmit as many vibrations when it's properly suspended. We will certainly do sound clips, although I'll warn you that video cameras, whatever kind of video camera it is, regardless of the quality, does not pick up sound accurately at all. But it's a totally different experience. I did briefly sustain like highway speed, 65, 75 miles an hour in 6th with the windows up, radio off. I had the air conditioning on because it was 89 degrees today. And you do kind of hear it, but it isn't, I don't think it's going to be too loud. I don't think it's going to be annoying. It's not going to be a constant spastic child in your ear screaming like other cars I've heard that have X-pipes or deletes and all this crazy stuff going on. So we'll get some clips. Yeah, I'll get to it, don't worry. I do kind of want to get those bushings in though next week before I really give a full thing on it. And I'm fully prepared if I don't like it to go back to the stock resonator. It'll be a little bit more work now, seeing that we had to modify it, but it's still possible. So I don't think that's going to happen. I really like this. It's really aggressive. It's just louder than I'm ever used to driving a car, but we'll get used to it. It sounds awesome. It sounds really mean. So we'll get to it later. I got to get to bed. My feet hurt. Been on my feet all day. I mowed 2 lawns. Got a bunch of stuff done. Okay, we're at 8 minutes. Talk tomorrow. Good night.